Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My beloved brothers and sisters, there is a pain many people are carrying today, a pain they cannot describe. You see them smiling, but inside they are breaking. You see them posting, laughing, talking, but when they are alone, their heart is heavy. Stress, anxiety, overthinking, sleepless nights, and then Allah, in His infinite mercy, gives you a gift, not a gift wrapped in paper, a gift wrapped in hunger, a gift called Ramadan, a month that does not just change your schedule, it changes your soul. A month that does not just stop your food, it stops your pain. A month that does not just discipline your body, it heals your mind. Today, let us reflect on how fasting brings mental peace and heals the soul. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the biggest reasons why people feel restless today is because they are too connected to the dunya and disconnected from Allah. From the moment we wake up, what is the first thing many people reach for? The phone. Notifications, messages, social media, news, people's opinions, people's lives, people's highlights. And before you even speak to Allah, you have already spoken to the dunya. Before you even remember your creator, you have remembered the creation. And slowly, without realizing, the dunya begins to occupy your heart. You begin to worry about what people think. You begin to compare your life with others. You begin to feel you are behind, you are not successful enough, not happy enough, not good enough. And this is where anxiety is born. This is where sadness grows. Because the dunya was never designed to give you permanent peace. The dunya is temporary. The dunya is imtihan, a test. But Ramadan comes and fasting forces you to step away. Suddenly, your day is different. You are not focused on eating. You are not running after every desire. You are not fulfilling every craving. You are holding yourself back for Allah. And this is powerful because every time your stomach feels hungry, your soul remembers Allah. Every time your throat feels dry, your heart whispers, I am doing this for Allah. You begin to realize something very important. You are not a slave of your desires. You are a servant of Allah. And when you break the control of your desires, you break the control of the dunya over your heart. You start seeing things differently. The things that once stressed you so much no longer feel as heavy. The things that once made you anxious no longer feel as important because your heart is reconnecting to the one who controls everything. You begin to talk to him more. You make dua more. You stand in salah longer. You sit alone, and for the first time in a long time, you feel calm. Not because your problems disappeared, but because your heart found its place again. You begin to realize that peace was never in a ta'am. It was never in al-mal. It was never in a nas. It was always with Allah. And fasting helps you return to Him. It reminds you that you don't need the dunya as much as you thought. It reminds you that Allah is enough. And when Allah becomes enough for you, the dunya loses its power over you. Your fears begin to weaken. Your worries begin to shrink. Your heart begins to breathe again. Because it is no longer drowning in the noise of the dunya, it is floating in the remembrance of Allah. And this is why fasting feels different. It is not just physical ibadah, it is spiritual freedom. Freedom from being controlled by your habits, freedom from being controlled by your desires, freedom from being controlled by the dunya. And when the dunya releases its grip on your heart naturally runs back to Allah. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the most exhausting battles a human being fights is not with the world. It is with the mind. The thoughts that don't let you sleep. The thoughts that remind you of your past. The thoughts that make you fear the future. The thoughts that tell you that you are not good enough, that you are not strong enough, that you are not worthy enough. And sometimes these thoughts become so loud that they begin to control you. They control your mood. They control your peace. They control your happiness. But Ramadan comes to train you not only to control your stomach, but to control your mind. Because fasting is not just a ta'am and a sharab. It is also controlling your tongue. It is also controlling your anger. it is also controlling your reaction. And most importantly, it is controlling your thoughts. Think about it. When you are fasting, you feel hunger. Your body tells you, eat. Your throat tells you, drink. But you say no, not because you cannot, but because you choose not to, for Allah. And in that moment, you prove something very powerful to yourself. You prove that you are in control, not your body, not your desires. You. And the same applies to your thoughts. When a negative thought comes, fasting teaches you that you do not have to accept it. Just because a thought enters your mind does not mean it deserves to stay. Just because a thought is loud does not mean it is true. Just because a thought is painful does not mean it defines you. Fasting creates awareness. You become more conscious, more careful. You begin to notice your reactions. You begin to pause before responding. You begin to pause before getting angry. You begin to pause before assuming the worst. And that pause is powerful because that pause is where self control lives. Before Ramadan, a person may react immediately. Someone says something, you reply instantly. Something happens, you panic instantly. A thought comes, you believe it instantly. But fasting slows you down. It teaches you patience. It teaches you to sit with discomfort without escaping it. It teaches you that you don't have to obey every feeling. You don't have to obey every thought. You don't have to obey every emotion. You begin to realize that thoughts are like clouds. They come and they go, but you are the sky. They do not own you. They do not control you. And when you weaken your physical desires, your spiritual strength increases. Your al-qalb becomes stronger. Your sabr becomes stronger. Your ability to remain calm becomes stronger. You begin to notice that the same things that once made you overthink no longer have the same power because fasting builds discipline inside you. And discipline is not just about a ta'am, it is about the mind. You begin to replace negative thoughts with dhikr. Instead of overthinking, you say Subhanallah. Instead of panicking, you say Alhamdulillah. Instead of despairing, you say Allahu Akbar. And slowly, your mind begins to change its direction because whatever you feed grows. If you feed your fears grow. If you feed your worries grow. But if you feed your soul with remembrance of Allah, your peace begins to grow. You begin to feel a calmness that is not dependent on your situation, even if life is not perfect, even if problems still exist, even if uncertainty remains. There is a strength inside you, a stability inside you, because fasting taught you that you are not weak in front of your thoughts. You are capable of mastering them. You are capable of redirecting them. You are capable of rising above them. And you begin to understand that your mind was never meant to be your prison. My beloved brothers and sisters, there are people walking on the earth today whose bodies look healthy, but their hearts are exhausted. Not because of physical pain, but because of emotional weight, the weight of being hurt, the weight of being betrayed, the weight of kalimat they cannot forget, moments they cannot erase, memories that still visit them in silence. Sometimes a person smiles in front of everyone, but when they are alone, their heart sinks. They replay what happened. They replay what was said. They replay what was lost. And every replay adds another layer of heaviness to the heart. But Allah in His mercy gives you Ramadan because fasting is not only a cleansing of the body, it is a cleansing of the heart. When you fast, you become softer. You become more aware of Allah. You become more aware of your own weaknesses. You begin to realize how much you need His forgiveness. And when you realize how much you need Allah to forgive you, it becomes easier to forgive others. Because you understand you are also imperfect. You are also al-insan. You have also made mistakes. And fasting humbles you. It breaks the arrogance of the heart. It removes the hardness. It removes the pride. And when pride leaves, healing enters. My brothers and sisters, some hearts are heavy because they are holding anger for too long. Years have passed and still they did not let go. Every time they remember, the wound opens again. Every time they remember, the pain feels fresh. But fasting teaches you to release. Because how can you ask Allah to forgive you while you refuse to forgive His servants? How can you ask Allah to show you mercy while you refuse to show mercy to others? Fasting makes you confront yourself. It makes you reflect deeply. You begin to see how temporary everything is. The people who hurt you are temporary. The situation that broke you was temporary. Even the pain is temporary. But Allah is permanent. And when your heart reconnects to the permanent, the temporary loses its power. You begin to feel less attached to what people did. You begin to feel less controlled by what happened. Because your heart is no longer living in the past, it is living with Allah. And Ramadan increases compassion inside you. When you feel hunger, you understand the weak. When you feel thirst, you understand the needy. When you feel discomfort, you understand pain. And this understanding softens your heart. A soft heart heals faster than a hard heart. A soft heart forgives faster. A soft heart trusts Allah more. And slowly, biduna and tash'ur, without even realizing, the things that once made your chest tight begin to loosen. The things that once made your heart feel heavy begin to lift, because fasting is removing the toxins of the soul. Just like your body detoxes, your heart detoxes too. The jealousy begins to weaken. The hatred begins to weaken. The resentment begins to weaken. And in its place, something beautiful begins to grow. Sakoon, a calmness that enters quietly. A calmness that was always there, waiting for the heart to be clean enough to feel it. You begin to sleep with less anger. You begin to wake up with less bitterness. You begin to look at people differently. You begin to look at your past differently. Not everything that hurt you was meant to destroy you. My beloved brothers and sisters, there is something very unique about Ramadan. It is the month of fasting. But more importantly, it is the month of the Quran, the month in which Allah chose to send down His words to humanity. Words that do not just inform you, words that transform you. Words that do not just educate you, words that heal you. Because the Quran was never meant to be just recited by the tongue. It was meant to be felt by the heart. But the problem is, outside Ramadan, many of us are too busy, too distracted, too occupied with the noise of life. Our hearts become full of everything else. And when the heart is full of dunya, it has no space to feel the Quran. Then Ramadan comes and fasting begins to empty you. It empties your stomach. It weakens your physical body. And when the physical body becomes weaker, the spiritual connection becomes stronger. You become more hawdar with Allah. And suddenly, when you hear the Quran, it feels different. You stand in Taraweeh, and the same verses you may have heard before, now they touch you, now they move you, now they make your eyes fill with tears, because your heart is no longer distracted. Your heart is present. My brothers and sisters, the Quran is called Shifa, a cure, a healing, because there are wounds inside you that nobody can see. There are questions inside you that nobody can answer. There are fears inside you that nobody can calm. But when you listen to the words of Allah, it feels as though the one who created your heart is speaking directly to your heart. When Allah talks about patience, you feel understood. When Allah talks about hardship, you feel less alone. When Allah talks about forgiveness, you feel hope. When Allah talks about His mercy, you feel safe. And Ramadan gives you the opportunity to reconnect with this healing. You begin to recite more, even if slowly, even if imperfectly, even if with struggle. And every letter you recite is not only rewarding you, it is repairing you, because the Quran reorganizes your heart. It changes your perspective. The problems that once felt huge begin to feel small. The fears that once controlled you begin to lose their power, because the Quran reminds you who Allah is. It reminds you that Allah is Al-Hakim, the most wise. It reminds you that Allah is Al-Latif, the most gentle. It reminds you that Allah is Al-Qadir, the most powerful. And when you truly understand this, your heart begins to relax. You stop feeling like everything depends on you. You stop feeling like you are alone. You stop feeling like your situation is hopeless. Because the Quran reconnects you to the truth that Allah is in control, the truth that Allah sees you, the truth that Allah knows you. Even the pain you never told anyone, even the tears you cried in silence, even the thoughts you never spoke, Allah knew. Allah always knew. And when you recite His words, it feels like you are returning home, a home your soul was missing, a home your heart was searching for. And fasting makes this connection stronger because fasting weakens the distractions that once stood between you and the Quran. Your desires become quieter, your soul becomes louder, your heart becomes softer, and a soft heart absorbs the Quran more deeply. You begin to crave it, not because you have to, but because you need to, because you begin to realize that this Quran is not just something you read, it is something that brings your dead heart back to life. My beloved brothers and sisters, if these words touched your heart, then this is not by accident. Perhaps Allah wanted to remind you, perhaps Allah wanted to heal you, perhaps Allah wanted to bring you back closer to Him. Do not let this reminder stop here. Let it live in your heart, let it change your life, and help this message reach someone who is silently suffering, someone who is crying without telling anyone, someone who needs hope, because you never know, one share from you could heal a broken soul. So kindly like this video so more hearts can receive this reminder. Subscribe to this channel so you do not miss the next message that could transform your life. And share it with your family and friends so you become a source of al-khair, a source of reward even after this video ends. And remember, when you help spread a reminder about Allah, Allah will send reminders to heal your own heart. May Allah grant you peace, grant you healing, and grant you Jannah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.